Hello and welcome to the Knit Chat with Jen podcast. It's been a while. Hi. It's been a couple of years. Uh wow, shiny. It's okay. It is Saturday, August 4th, 2018. I'm getting used to a camera, so I'm going to look right here instead of there because okay, anyway. This is me unedited. It has been 2 years. I decided not to record for a couple of years because one, it was just getting too much. I was in the middle of school for my credential and just life was getting in the way. So, but I am back. I am back with new technology, but I'm just gonna be straight and honest. I'm just gonna be no editing. Just this is me. Okay. Anyway, but you're not here to talk about that. You're here to look at my knitting. So grab your beverage of choice. Mine's water because it's hot. And let's talk about our knitting. Excuse me, that was a loud gulp. Anyway, I'm not going to go over 2 years of FOs, but I do have a couple of recent FOs. So first off, just a plain vanilla sock. This was a sock blank that I dyed myself. These were done 2 at a time. Hopefully, yeah, the color's pretty accurate. Knit 2 at a time, US ones. I like to say what needles. I know some podcasters are saying not to. I like to, just in case someone is just starting to knit socks and they're not sure where to start. I am a tight knitter. So if you want a really good gauge of sock and you are a tight knitter, try US ones because it gives me a good gauge. Gauge meaning good material, the best ways to describe it is material. Okay, what you're knitting. Okay, so this is, and again, this was a sock blank that I dyed 6 years ago. 6 years ago. So I'm getting used to the camera on my iMac, so excuse me. These I finished actually a couple months ago, but I finally blocked them. Took me a while. Second pair of socks, I have 3 in total. Second pair of socks. Oh, you can see my ugly bed. Oh well. The second pair of socks that I made are these ones. These are my little shorty Clark socks. Here. So used to putting it here, but this was done in Busy Bee Fibers, which is local to me over up in the North Bay, near Bodega Bay. At least I bought it in Bodega Bay. I believe she's close to Bodega Bay, up near Point Reyes and Sonoma County. So these are the Clark socks. The pattern is by Jacqueline Salem. Can't believe I forgot that. Jacqueline Salem. Clark socks. Again, US ones because I am a tight knitter. I did a German short row heel if you want to look. If you want to look at the cable. By the way, I normally here. There you go. I normally don't block my socks, by the way, but the soft blank socks, I wanted to rinse out some of the dye that I noticed was coming off my hands when I was knitting it. So I wanted to wash as much of it off, and so that way my feet wouldn't become red. And then I blocked the Clark socks so that way the cable, the cables, because there's a cable down the middle. You know what? It looks pretty on the blocker, but the cable is not showing. Hello. And then the cable on the back. So I blocked these because of the cable. I just wanted to see how it would stretch, making sure that the cable is not misformed. I don't know why I thought that, but meh. I wanted to block it. The third pair of socks I did not block because I didn't want to. So there you go. And I don't need to. So there. These are, I did wear them, admittedly. I have worn them once. So I wore them while hiking. But these are cobblestone? Yeah, the cobblestone socks by Mina Phillips. I'm not used to this. Alright. It is done in Nitty and Color yarn. They're sock yarn. Merino nylon. Oh, yeah. Both of those are merino nylon. I have a lot of merino nylon blends in my stash, and I'll talk about my stash later. So I'm not used to saying what the fiber is because that's all I knit in, other than other projects. So, hello. So this is the kind of fabric that it creates, cobblestone. And sorry, the colorway is called Poppies. Now when I bought it at Stitches South again many years ago. I thought it said puppies. And for the longest time, 5 to 6 years, I thought these were puppies. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to be knitting cobblestone socks and puppies. And then as I started knitting them, I'm like, this doesn't look like puppies. This doesn't make me think of puppies. And then oh my and then I looked at the tag again, and I looked really closely, and I realized what I thought was a U was an O. And it makes more sense. So, puppies! Puppies. So, again, I did a German short row heel because I enjoy knitting in German short row heels. The fit to me is okay. Just to be honest, it's okay. It works. I'm a little bit more of a process knitter and a product knitter. I like what I get out of it, but I also enjoy knitting. So if I don't enjoy knitting the heel, the type of heel, I'm not going to knit it. So I like the German short row heel. My husband likes the German short row heel. So it fits him well. I like it, but it does leave a little bit of a kind of room in there. So it fits, it works. My last FO, my last FO is the Find Your Fade. Just making sure this is the right, yeah. Yeah, okay. Are you ready? It starts off with Becoming Art. This is the love song. Then it moves into Highland Handmaids in the Hello colorway. This is the garter, so maybe not. This is coming out vibrant. Hello fades into the Hello, Highland Handmaids. Then it fades into the Tactile Fibers, which it was local to me, Oakland. I don't know if they're dying anymore. I don't know. What was the color? Mauve, I think it was. And then it fades into Unwind Yarn Company in the Dragon. It was her Outlander color series. Dragon, Fly, and Amber. The second book title. Okay. Then it fades into Becoming Art in Prince Humperdinck. Humperdinck. Don't say his name. Alright, this is Prince Humperdinck. Then it fades into Sunshine Yarn. Monkeys. Into the Sunshine Yarn's Love Song. And then last fade is in Canon Hand Dyes in Anne, which is a Jane Austen reference. Persuasion, the book Persuasion, the main character, Anne. Okay. Oh, Nelly. So, huge. This was huge, I tell ya. So, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I've been really getting into, excuse me, I'm adjusting myself. I'm getting really into big shawls, which I don't know why, because I live in California, which, you know, I live in Northern California, so you would think it would be a little bit cold. No. 80-degree weather in the summer. In the fall, same thing. 80-degree weather. Winter, this last winter, it went down to 50. That's not cold enough for me. It's cold, but not, I don't know. Anyway, I don't care. Makes me happy. I was loving big shawls this last winter, so I knit one. And I'm going to be knitting more, and I can't seem to fold it, so I'm just gonna do this. No, that's stupid. Forget it. I'll just put it back on. Not bad. Alright, I gotta grab my works in projects. Works in process. So, I'll be back. Alright, I am back. Whips. And not the naughty kind. I'm gonna start first with some socks. I whew, I casted these socks on right before our trip to Ireland and England. Peter and I finally went on our honeymoon. Took us 2.5 years, but we did it. So I didn't want to bring anything big. So I got some socks. Okay, so I'm making him socks because I realized I made him Peter, my husband. So I realized one of my knitting goals was to make him more socks than last year. I only made him 4 pairs. So I am knitting him 4 pairs of socks at the same time. How am I doing this, you say? Well, I'm doing 2 at a time, but I'm going to do afterthought heels and toes. Yes, I've done this before for him, so you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna reverse it. There you go. So these I've been bringing when we went to see movies. So, all right. So this is one pair. This is the second pair. This one is not true to color. Okay. Oh, it's not even true to color without that light. I don't know why you can't really see this. The orange is really not coming out on this. Bah humbug. So, and as you can see, I have as a progress keeper just so I don't go crazy. Oh, weeping angel. The 2 yarns. My plan is I already know how much I need to knit, but I have these big skeins of yarns and he likes long legs. So I'm just going to knit until there's barely any left. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. Again, you see this? I don't know why it's not the black and the yellow and the red, but face, maybe. Yarn head. Uh, the first yarn is a wool Mazda, 100% wool, and it's in the daisy colorway. I don't even know if this camera has focus. The second ball of yarn, the one that's not really showing true to color, is another Nidian color, and it's called Sunburst. And again, it's superwash merino. Oh, and not nylon. No, it is 80/20 superwash merino nylon. And this shows backwards, but I know it's going to show right at the end. That's one project / 2 pairs of socks. And then this I've actually been working on. Bless you! Bless you! I don't know if you could hear that. The second project, sock project, I've been mainly working on these, but the second pair of socks, now I worked on these a lot in Ireland. Alright, let's see how, okay. And again, alright, another This is another afterthought heels and toes. But you can see it's not as much as the other ones. I worked on this a lot in Dublin, Ireland, but once we got to London, I switched to those and I haven't switched back. So, you can see why I worked on these in Ireland. And again, I have a weeping angel. All 4 pairs are on US 1s, because again, I'm a tight knitter. He has bigger circumference, and I did, with his socks, I had been using US 1.5s, which is 2.5 millimeter needles, but some of his socks have already worn out. He wears them constantly, and I realize it's because of how much fabric. The gauge is not tight enough. So I've gone down to US 1s, but I've increased the stitches to 72. For me, I'm a US 1 64 stitches. So for the ones that I have knit him have worked. The US 1 72 stitch. They have worked and they've worn well. So I also realized I can't knit him MCN based socks. He blows through the cashmere. I knit him one pair of socks that he's had for only 3 months and already. So no cashmere for him. So that's 4 pairs of socks on 2 pairs of needles. The next one, my behemoth, I'm almost done too. And I'm midway through. I didn't show you the yarns for that one. Hold on. By the way, this is a Doctor Who bag. No one commented in Ireland or in England. Anyway, sorry about that. First one. The green is coming out really nicely. It's not like that though. Why I'm doing that. And then this is the other. This one, pain. Pain. I'm mad at it still. It's still being a pain when I was winding. I lost a good amount of yardage on this one. So, first ball is Miss Babs' Yummy Hand Painted Sock in the Saturn colorway. Miss Babs. Second ball that is causing me pain is Lisa Souza in the deluxe sock, and it's called Saltmarsh. And yes, you see it, Cashmere MCN. Yes, I know. I just said he goes through cashmere, so I'm thinking. So here's the thing. With the toes and the heels, I'm going to be putting different yarn. So if I put a strong merino nylon or even a BFL and nylon, it'll be okay. I'm thinking. I'm hoping. That's the key word, is hoping. That boy goes through cashmere. I'm gonna keep my cashmere for myself. Alright. Next one is my sweater. And yes, it is mid-row. Yes, indeedy. But we're going to deal with it. Hold on. it is the Lineal Cardigan by Hannah Fettig. It was specifically made. Where are the monkeys? Is the other? There it is. This was a pattern in her Quince and Company collection for their linen, which is Quince and Company Sparrow. So I have needle protectors. So linen. So this is 100% linen. Okay. Crazy easy, I'm telling you. I have never worked with linen before, and I have to say, I will not be knitting linen, as I struggle with this, on metal needles, because I have lost many stitches in the process of knitting these. Especially when a cat gets on top of my lap and then proceeds to knead it. So, alright, so hopefully this is not causing a kerfuffle. So, this is again the Lineal Cardigan. As I said, it's mid-row. I am on the neckband, okay? I am on the neckband. So you can kind of see like that. It is striped. I bought the yarn, which is Quince & Co. Sparrow. I'll show you the tag later. I bought the yarn at Monarch Knitting over in Monterey. It's a little town that's next to Monterey. Because I really wanted to be knitting sweaters in the summer, but it's too hot, as you can see by my shiny brow. So I wanted to knit with linen, and they had Quince & Co. Sparrow, so I bought it. But they didn't have, the point is, they didn't have enough of one color, but they had enough of these two colors that I could combine that worked really well. So that's what I did. And me and gray, I like gray. It matches all my gray. Now, the Lineal Cardigan, if you want to, you can't really see. So you'll notice, I don't know if you can tell. No, you can't. It has kind of a, bless you! You can watch another episode. He was watching a scary stuff, so that's why I started recording. So if you can tell, let's get back to knitting, shall we? If you can kind of tell, there is a high-low, okay? I'm horrible showing you this, but I don't care. You can kind of see it has a high and low. Yeah, look at that. All right. Has a high-low. So she had you create this very high-low hem. Okay, so, which is very different from her other patterns. Here. Oh, can I do it without losing my stitches? There you go, okay? Huzzah! So, this is the kind of band for button band and neck band, really, honestly. Neck and whatever, you know what I mean. So this is supposed to be the one bottom, okay? And this is the end, the bottom hem, but it, okay? So that's what's very interesting about this cardigan. Covers my tushy. So when I was looking at the bust size, when I was looking at the pattern, it It said it showed the cardigan was zero ease. Now, again, I'm not used to working with linen, so I'm like, oh my gosh, no, I gotta. And the choice was for 41 and a half bust size, or no, 41-inch bust size, and then 45-inch bust size. And I like my cardigans to be a little loose, not too tight. Again, with linen, I didn't realize that with linen it drapes way more. She said it in the pattern, but I was just thinking, oh no, zero ease, it's not gonna work. Well, now here's the thing. It's fine. It's just it is drapier than I thought it would be. I would now it does work. I can't try it on for you because of the fact that I'm in the middle of a row. It does work in the back. Okay? It looks really good in the back, which is most raglan cardigans for me. This is a raglan, by the way. It is a similar structure as her featherweight, but again with the hem, different hem. It looks good in the back, like most raglans do for me, but in the front, I keep looking at it. It's going to be fine. It just means that it's going to be a little bit more drape than I thought it would be. And the sleeves, I realized later looking at the schematic, the sleeves, the arm circumference based on the size that I chose was huge. So what I did was, but I realized the size lower was a better circumference for me. So I just decreased. I picked up the stitches and then I decreased the number of stitches to where it needed to be, and I just knit. Now these were 3/4, the pattern called for 3/4 length sleeves, but even with combining two colors, I still didn't have enough. So I'm down to one ball for each color, and I'm on the neckband. So we'll see. I have to go to 2.5 inches on the neckband, which it looks like I'm getting close to it. But if I have enough, I may pick out the ribbing. Oh, no. Oh, monkeys. No. See what I'm saying? Trying the sweater out has been redonkulous. Hold on. Oh. Redonkulous. That's why I had to search for these needlepoint protectors in order to save my project, man. Right. So this is the one ball. This is called, I have the tag. I think this is called Moon. Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. Lies. Okay. This is called Birch. Quince and Company, by the way. Quince and Company Sparrow. Birch. It is 100% linen. The second skein of yarn that I'm alternating with, see, that's the other thing. Linen is slippy. This is called Moon. I am almost done. I have been weaving the ends as I go, so I don't have to deal with that. So I'll just need to weave in the ends after I finish with the neckband, and then I just need to block, and then I'm done. So that is the last of my whips. So, what else can I say is it has been a while. So I'm going to be joining into Talkie Talk, non-knitting talk. So if you are done with that and you're just here for the knitting, great. I'm so glad to see you after all these years. And have a great day. If you want to know what happened in those 2 years, please let's keep going. Gotta drink some water. It's been 2 years. Just about. Or maybe 1.5. I don't remember. I believe the last time I was working on my teaching credential and unemployed in Greenland. 2 Princess Bride references in one episode. So that was all of the rest of that year. I got a job as a classroom teacher right after that in Oakland, and I decided after that, because of the nature of my job, I didn't feel comfortable. I was teaching 5th graders who were pretty savvy with social media, and I'm probably still going to be teaching with kids that are savvy with social media, but I'm not going to be as close to them. Excuse me, I'm sorry about the nose. It's itchy. Excuse me. So I got a job as a classroom teacher with 5th graders, and I didn't feel it was appropriate to keep podcasting, especially since my kids were pretty social media savvy. Actually, I had an incident where one of my kids did find me on Instagram. Thank goodness I was private on my Instagram account, and I was having an issue with that child. So we're just going to leave it at that. And then a couple of my kids tried to add me as well when they were trying to figure out what was going on. And I won't go into detail, but I had a pretty this 2018 sucked, monkeys. It's been a hard few years, to be perfectly honest. Being unemployed and struggling a lot in that, and then was a classroom teacher, and your first year teaching is pretty intense. It's basically hell, right? It was especially more hell with the circumstances that I was dealing with regarding a lot of things. And for me, I learned a lot by making mistakes, but unfortunately, the mistakes were exploded. Anyway. And then I had to deal with also personal things. I don't want to go into detail, but basically, my mom was diagnosed with cancer and has since passed away. So I was dealing with that. She was in the hospital a good amount of time, and I had to miss a lot of work. So anyway, so back to why I didn't podcast. So that's why I didn't feel comfortable putting myself out there in podcast form on YouTube, because I didn't feel like, even if I put a different name and all that stuff, I figured they would find me. But I am not at that school anymore. I am no longer a classroom teacher. I am now back to being a school librarian at not the same school, but the same district that I was previously. I'm at 2 different schools. I start training next week, so I'm really excited. I missed it. I love teaching, and I loved by the end of the school year, I really hope they knew that I loved them. I loved them a lot. They were a great class. They kept me on my toes, to put it mildly. They kept me on my toes. I taught them, I hope, but they taught me a lot as a teacher. So, and they really showed me my strengths and my weaknesses. So I would not take that year back, even though it was stressful as beep, and it was hell. Uh, and I had a really hard time. I would not have traded that experience at all. But it definitely, moving on to the future, I'm excited about starting with these two schools, going back to being a teacher librarian, learning from my program and seeing, oh, that's why this didn't work. Oh, this still works. And just finding a different way of teaching that I didn't do the first year as a teacher librarian and as a classroom teacher. So I'm really excited to see how it is after those experiences. So I feel more comfortable podcasting because one, I missed it. And two, I feel more comfortable putting myself out there in the media because I have more kids. Take 31 kids. I had 31 kids in one classroom. To 100 some kids at two schools, I doubt that those kids will want to try to find me on social media, and if they do, it doesn't matter. I don't grade them. I don't write the report cards and all that stuff, so it doesn't matter to me. As much as 31 kids who I write the report cards, I work with them and their parents, I am with them all the time. I'm the difference between a classroom teacher, I feel, this is what I feel. The difference between a classroom teacher and a teacher librarian is classroom teacher, you're their mom or dad if you're male or uh, trans male. You are their parent basically from 8:30 a.m. to we did it up to 3:30 p.m. You are their parent. And you're constantly making sure they're okay, making sure that they're all right, making sure they're learning, all that stuff. When you're a teacher librarian, you're like the aunt and uncle. You get to have them for like 45 to 55 minutes. You get to teach them fun little things, and that's it. You get to send them off to their parents and say bye. You don't have to spend 8 hours a day with them. So that's why I'm not going to have children. I want to be an aunt. I'm not going to be an aunt, but it's okay. Or a mommy. It's okay. I have my students, and that's what matters. Anyway, babble. So that's why I'm back after 1.5, 2 years. I don't remember. But I'm also simplifying it a lot. No acquisitions because I've stopped buying a lot of yarn. I'm not doing online shopping as much anymore. Actually, not barely. Of yarn. Not of other things. I assure you I'm not that much. Because I have enough yarn. I know what happened. It's more of as I was reorganizing, I put my yarn into wall cubes finally, better ones, and I was organizing it and doing it, and I realized I need to knit through this before I can justify more purchases. That does not mean I did not buy yarn in Ireland. We didn't go to yarn stores in England because we didn't have enough time, but I bought a lot of yarn in Ireland. I'm not going to show it to you though. But yeah, I feel like I'm gonna buy yarn when I go to yarn conventions or shows, or if I'm visiting a place that I haven't been to and I want to check out a yarn store. I think that's most of what my yarn purchases are gonna be. But I have deep stash dived a lot of my projects. That's why you kept hearing, oh, this was from Stitches South 5 years ago. A lot of this yarn I bought at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I actually gave away a good portion of my other yarn when I moved from Livermore to Hayward, which is where I'm at now. So, to a friend of mine. So, yeah. Just getting through that stash. Not all of it because, come on, hello. But a good portion of my old yarn. So I have actually laid out some patterns that I'm going to do. I've already, picked the yarn for patterns that I'm going to do. So I'm excited to show you that next time. Schedule wise, probably once a month because honestly, school's starting. I'm still kind of busy and just dealing with stuff. So that is that. What else? Peter and I are kind of looking at houses. I want to wait a year from now to look at houses, but I also want to feel like I know where I'm looking. We're thinking of staying in Hayward, but in certain pockets, and it's Hayward has pockets of good and pockets of bad areas that we would like to live in, areas that we would feel more comfortable in. Where we live now, we're comfortable, but it's still iffy. It's iffy, We're fine with it for now, but there's areas that we actually would prefer. So, in looking at the housing prices, some of them are good, some of them are a little bit higher than we think we could afford, and we also haven't run the numbers and everything. So today we drove around and we looked at open houses, and it's gotten me thinking. There was one house that I really liked, other than the fact that it didn't have a washer and dryer connection. Yeah, seriously, right? But we're not ready. We haven't gone through the steps. I just wanted to look at the neighborhood, but I really liked the house a lot. But we're not there yet. I'm not going to obsess about it. So I think I'm going to stick with my idea of waiting a year, letting the money that I got. I wanted to let it grow. Just to kind of give you background, I received an inheritance, and some of it I want to keep aside for a down payment for a house for investment. And so it is a good chunk that we could do a down payment on a house, but because I live in the Bay Area, it's kind of crazy, and it would be good if we were moving somewhere else, but not here. So we're still kind of working it out, and honestly, it's my money, so I get to decide. I think we're gonna wait for a year because it's just I need to take things step at a time, so that's what we're gonna do. What else? I already told you I'm starting, but I think Peter is done watching a scary show, so I better get going so we can watch some Downton Abbey. I've already watched Downton Abbey. I'm making him watch Downton Abbey. He likes it, so I don't feel too bad. Anyway, that's it. So thank you so much for chatting with me. I hope you've made it to the very end, but if not, I'm just glad to see that people are around. Anyway, I will talk to you later. Love you all. Bye.